What does it say?
We are live.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. What does it say?
We are
Good
live.
afternoon.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Just make sure we get everybody's up and running. I heard a little bit of feedback in the background, but.
Is that from you or is that from?
No,
I think
we
it was
should be
from
good.
me.
Yeah, we're good now. So thank you everybody for joining us for what is to be the first of many. This is Monday Biz Motivation. I'll share kind of how this got started and the brainchilds and children. I don't know how you say that. The genius minds.
Children.
There we go. The genius minds behind it. But first of all, my name is Colin Diaz, President and CEO of the Culver City Chamber. You guys have probably seen me in the past on a few chamber chats, and I am joined today by Candance Simmons, who is our ambassador chair and also owner of All That and More Boutique, and Rafia Cooper, who is also an ambassador with the Culver City Chamber and owner of Rafia Jewelry. I want to turn it over to them because this was their idea. I want them to share how this all came to be and what we can expect to see out of this in the future. So I will let you guys decide, Rafia or Candance, who would like to speak first.
It was Rafia started it, so go for it, Rafia.
Well, hi, how are you guys today? So I'm Rafia Cooper and owner of Rafia Jewelry, and I decided that, since the pandemic, I was doing my live shows and having a guest on there with the business in Culver City or around the vicinity, and a chamber member usually, and talking about what their businesses were. So since we don't have that and we can't do that right now, it's great to be able to do something a little bit different. So I contacted Candance and wanted to partner up with her because I love that, we work together already, and I love her. She's a wonderful lady and love her energy. So I thought that we could pair up together and interview some businesses and use this as a platform to not only help the businesses as well as the chamber and bring everyone together. And that's it.
Wonderful.
And so Rafia, when she contacted me, my first response was, yes, okay, now what are we doing and why and how do we make it happen? And so thank you, Rafia, for having such great insight into the Culver City community. And I had previously been on Rafia's Mixing It Up with Rafia on Friday session. So I said, oh, that'll be easy, piece of cake. And then we reached out to our president, Colin, and said, hey, Colin, here's what we think and how we think this will benefit the community in Culver City, the businesses who are, having challenges right now in terms of engaging with the community. And he said, yes, let's do it.
Exactly. It's been really fun. So we're doing our first one with just 3 of us, and hopefully in the next few ones we'll start doing the businesses around us, and if you're interested and you are a business and you want to come on, please contact us. But for this time, we are just 3 of us doing it, and it's going to be interesting to hear a little bit about each of our businesses and what we're doing. So Colin has sort of agreed to
I
Surprise!
don't like the sound of that.
Surprise!
So tell me, Colin, how has things been different for you? I know you've been doing an amazing job of keeping us all posted and updated with chamber news and with the businesses around town, what's happening and what everyone is facing and how they are surviving. So tell me how you're doing it, because it's a challenge for all of us.
It is. I would say, it's funny. I was speaking to someone the other day, and we've always kind of been a line of communication to businesses in Culver City, and that's not changed at all during the pandemic. If anything, it's increased tenfold. But some days we're, 5 minutes quicker to get you the information than what you might hear from the city or the county or the state. But a lot of it is kind of curating that and figuring out what really is relevant to you as a business owner or as an employee or just somebody that's doing business in Culver City. And then to steal a word that I've heard probably about 80 times during the pandemic, we've had to pivot quite frequently. In fact, even though Rafia, you've been in this space as kind of doing your in the mix, and I think it's been a little over 2 years that you've done various versions of this. For the chamber, this is relatively new. I mean, we've done, we've all been on countless Zooms now, but as far as spotlighting, members, spotlighting businesses, bringing resources, connecting people, that's all been, I'd say it's the silver lining and everything, because there's a question we always ask internally: what's the value of the chamber if you can't attend an event? And then the pandemic said, here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cancel all of your events. And then we're going to see. And I would, I'm biased, of course, but I would say that we've been relevant and resourceful to any business that's chosen to engage with us during the pandemic, and even those that haven't, because we're sharing, resources, whether it be finance or finance and funding to PPE supplies and resources for that. And then we've worked a lot closer with the city through the pandemic because things have been so rapidly and fluidly changing. So it's been, in fact, as you mentioned that, I'm thinking of our, today we have our weekly roundtable, which is business roundtable that starts 2:30. So it's Mondays bi-weekly at 2:30, and it's an opportunity to hear from the mayor, so Mayor Erickson, Councilmember Small's on it as well, and then members of the econ development team for the city that are also part of the COVID-19 task or economic recovery task force. So great opportunity to ask questions, to hear a little bit more about what's going on. And so I don't know if that answered your question. It might have been a little bit more than you bargained for, but definitely been trying to do a lot during the pandemic.
Can I just add from a business perspective in terms of what the chamber has done? I have to say this, and I've said it to Colin and I've said it to his team. The chamber has really been my lifeline to just knowing what's going on, how to shift, how to pivot during the pandemic. The weekly roundtable calls that Colin mentioned that are happening today at 2:30. There were times early on where I just didn't know what to do. I mean, I just sat at my table trying to just, I'm in prayer, but I'm also trying to move forward, give God something to bless. You have to get up. But I would listen in on that call because I had friends who, really wanted to ensure that All That and More Boutique was going to survive. They were asking questions. They were sending me all types of grants and PPP and PPE and EIDL and all those things, all these initials that I was just trying to figure out, like, which direction am I micro? Am I small? What size business am I? But I would jump on a roundtable call that was hosted through the city. Colin had the mayor on there, and they would give updates. And they really helped me understand how my business needed to shift and pivot and what programs were available. I mean, there were so many collaborations in terms of the Small Business Administration that I just saw Colin pulling all these resources together, and his team of Lauren and Monica just really coming together. The emails, sometimes I would watch the news and then I'd say, okay, I'm not moving because that's the county, but I need to know what our city is doing. And Colin would come on with an update, a video saying, here's what the city of Culver City is doing. And I was like, okay, that's what I need to be doing. So it was real time, it was fluid, and it really helped me to navigate these uncertain, unfamiliar waters in terms of what All That and More Boutique business needed to do. And I've never felt so connected to what the city and the state and the county was doing had it not been for the Culver City Chamber. So Colin, I thank you because you were out there. You were out there. And the most vivid one was when all the protesting started. And I was like, how is this going to impact my business? And there you were with the mayor sharing, hey, board up, make yourself look unattractive. Here's the areas that have been impacted. Here's what they're doing. So it's like the media was saying one thing, you were seeing all these things on the news, but I knew immediately what to do as a result of my connection to the Culver City Chamber. So it has been a lifeline through this whole COVID-19 pandemic. And Colin, you've been right there in the forefront, just marching and leading the charge. I'm sorry, my friends are like texting me, I'm watching. I'm like, okay, I see you guys. I think I see you. So thank you for the support.
I see a bunch of people watching. So let's say hi to Robin, Ginny, Kayla, Denise, Kathleen. I see all these people watching.
Thank you for joining.
Hey, Teresa and Renee and Deborah. Thank you guys for joining, turning on the dime and popping on.
And if you guys have any questions, you can add them to the chat and please talk to us. And we'd love to talk to you while we're live. If you have a question for any of us, please put it in the chat. That would be great. Well, that was great. I really enjoyed your feedback, Candance, especially about Colin. I've heard such amazing feedback about Colin and the chamber throughout this whole thing. So, it's trying. It's a challenging time, but to rise above it and to keep going, it's a task, and I commend you for keeping us all straight. And so I just want to say that Colin is the president of the chamber. However, Candance and I are both ambassadors, and I was so excited to be an ambassador to the chamber this year. I had been doing it sort of in an unofficial way, but I was so honored to be officially a chamber ambassador. However, this year hasn't really made it so that I can be an ambassador the way that I wanted to go visit the businesses and do a bunch of things that I had in mind. This is a way that we can do it. This is another avenue that we can do using social media, using these platforms to make it happen and connect businesses together. So I thank you, Colin, for allowing us to be the ambassadors for you. And do you want to tell, Candance, do you want to tell everybody what an ambassador does?
Sure. Well, I kind of want to give the backdrop of an approach to Colin's openness. I remember when I went out for a mixer, because I would only attend the after 5 mixers, and I found out he was the new president of the chamber. So I quietly walked over to him and said, hey, can I talk to you for a moment? Pulled him over into the corner and just read off all the reasons why I would not be a part of the chamber. And he took notes, and then he came back with, well, to that point, there's some things that we're going to be implementing, which is ambassadors. The ambassadors will visit your business, identify what your needs are, what your pain points are, how you would like to grow your business, how you'd like exposure for your business, and see what pieces of the chamber and how the chamber can help you do those things. So do you want to grow your business? Do you need more visibility? Do you want to connect with various business owners, collaborations? So all the reasons why I said, here's why I'm not going to be a part of the chamber. Those are things that he had already identified and said, we have ambassadors that are going to meet with you one-on-one to talk about what is it that you're looking for and how the chamber can assist you. So shortly after joining and then engaging and being a part of it, it's like, okay, now I'm that ambassador where those things, I enjoy welcoming new businesses to Culver City. I enjoy finding out what it is that their needs are and finding out how the chamber can help them grow in their business to connect with other small businesses. And as an ambassador, you really feel that you're like pumping blood into their business, like you're helping them stay alive, you're helping them survive, you're helping them thrive. And it's hugely due to what the chamber can offer and how the chamber can help them navigate through. I could say that the things that I was told about the Culver City Chamber, a lot of them I'm like, well, it's a part of how much are you contributing? How much are you doing? What are you doing when you're in the room? And, realizing that some folks come into the room and they don't know what to do.
Right.
And that's where an ambassador will pull up next to them, greet them, welcome them into the room, help them identify people that they would want to connect with or connect to, and do those introductions to help them break the ice to, again, identify and meet the needs of their business. So I've enjoyed being a connector and helping folks understand what it is that the chambers can do to help you connect and grow your business in the city that you enjoy serving. So that's my take.
Thank you. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do is to connect people. It's such a rewarding thing, at the end when you've said, oh, I think that you two would hit it off and you could work really well with each other and help each other. I think it's a wonderful thing. I do want to say I'm looking at some comments, and hi, Kevin. First of all, thank you for watching. And somebody, LJ, is asking a question of us. The question is for both Candance and myself: how is your boutique staying afloat? You want to go first?
Question.
Sure. One of the things that has, again, helped my business is knowing what to do. And a lot of the what and how have come from understanding what the city is allowing us to do, what the protocols that are in place. The Culver City Chamber has a great toolbox on their website that any business owner can go to and find out what it is that you need to be addressing as you think about reopening your business. So that was extremely important. Also, it's my community. I have stayed in contact with my clients through my emails, through Facebook Lives, and also meeting them where they are. We had to shift. Our clients are touch and feel. I know, ladies, you want to touch and feel and have an experience. And one of the things that I enjoy doing was creating those wind downs and creating different things where women could come together. Well, now knowing that we can't come together in the space and numbers, creating a wind down online virtually where we do Zooms on Fridays, or we were doing them more frequently when we weren't open, but also allowing my clients to shop virtually. So I will set up a virtual appointment where we've done some closet edits. We've done, some virtual shopping in the store. We've also done some curbside pickups for my clients who do not want to come in, but they've seen things on my website that they can purchase. I've assisted them over the phone, as well as folks that are coming in, and letting them know what my protocol is. When I greet them at the door and I say, okay, I have to spray you down, they hold their hands up and they're like, spray me. I said, okay, just your hands. I'm just spraying your hands. And then I said, oh, and here's gloves. And, we do the same thing with our dressing room. I let them know, hey, if you try on something, it's fine for you to try it on. But once you try it on, I'm going to have to take it off the floor. And they've adjusted and said, well, I'm just going to try on what I'm really interested in. They trust me in terms of sizing, and we've hit it about 90% accuracy in terms of what they were looking for and what they were able to do when they'd come in. So really just staying engaged. And the thing that I continue to say is that we all have to keep getting up and getting out and giving God something to bless every day. Because if you're praying for survival, you're praying to, thrive or to survive this whole pandemic, but you're not doing anything, there's really not much to work with. You really have to engage with people, ask your clients where they are, what they'd like to see from you, and start adjusting to offer those things. This is my new bracelet, which is my face covering. I keep it on my wrist because
new accessories
it's an accessory. And I'll say I did not want to do face masks, but once we realized they were not going away, I was able to work with the local designer. And now they match my outfits. My clients requested it. They kept poking me saying, the face masks are not going away and we want them to match our outfits. And once they said match our outfits, I was like, okay, now I hear you. But this is my bracelet. It's our new way of life. We have to mask up and we have to protect each other. And so that was a huge shift in my business that I'm sure a lot of folks are doing.
Absolutely.
But those are some of the things that have helped me survive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. For me, LJ, I will say that my business was mostly wholesale. So I was a wholesaler of jewelry designs that I then send over to different stores like Candance's, that would come in order. I would do trade shows and different things. And that was the major part of my business. However, when this all happened, all the stores were closed at first for a long time. And so I started doing more social media. And what I learned was that a lot more individual people wanted to purchase. So I kept the wholesale prices, and I've been selling a lot more on social media, through social media. And people are going to my website and ordering, but it's been a change for me where I wasn't selling as much to the general public. I, have a large order at a store, and I would send it off to the store, little boutiques to big stores. But honestly, it's been a nice change, and I kind of like, selling to the public, and it's been an interesting change for me because I'm used to making like 5 of one thing for a store order or something, or even 100 of one thing, for the larger store orders. But just to make individual pieces has been an interesting thing.
So I actually wanted to piggyback off of what you just said, because something that a lot of people don't know, and there's still time to participate. One of the things that's great about Culver City, or at least that I've found, is that there's this kind of interconnectedness between, well, it might be because a lot of the folks that live in Culver or work in Culver City also live in Culver City. And so there's a shared passion for the community doing well. And at the beginning of this pandemic, the chamber, partnering with the Exchange Club and with Mayor Erickson and the council member Small and the DBA and different restaurants started Feed Culver, which is geared towards twofold: supporting those that are that may have food insecurities or don't have as much access to food, and as well as supporting the local restaurants, which have obviously been hit as hard, if not harder, than other business sectors, by purchasing food from them. Rafia, you probably don't share this enough, but why don't you share what you've done over the last couple of weeks, as you mentioned, kind of your shift from going to businesses to individual sales?
Well, for me, I feel very blessed and grateful for everything, honestly. So this Feed Culver program that Colin is trying to talk about here has been a wonderful blessing in our community. There's been several people who are doing wonderful things like this to make sure that people are fed in Culver City. But this particular program not only helps the individuals, but it helps the restaurants to stay afloat by purchasing the food from them. So their donations were not coming in as quickly as they needed them to be. So I sort of decided that I would try to help. So I've been donating 100% of my jewelry sales to go to feedculver.org. And so far I've raised $3,132.
Wow.
I'm willing to keep going because that is not even enough to feed a lot of people. But, if anybody is so inclined to help out some more, just mention Feed Culver if you want to purchase something, and I will definitely give 100% of whatever you order from me and purchase to feedculver.org. So I've been doing this for about the last, 2 or 3 weeks. something like that. And that's the amount that I've gotten to. If someone wants to match it, that's even better.
Right.
If you're so inclined. But just to give you guys an idea, that amount sounds like a lot, but they feed literally about 250 people per day, Monday through Friday. And if it's about $10 per person per meal, then that's only about 300 meals. Okay. So that kind of gives you an idea. That's only a little bit more than a day. So, you know, we're all doing our best that we can, but I really don't want to see people go hungry. So whatever you can do to help us with that program, we greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing. I think it's amazing because we do have, you know, businesses that have participated, and as long as the program is run, which is the very beginning of April until now, it's almost still a 50-50 split as far as residents that are looking, you know, within their own capacity and are giving to support fellow residents and their neighbors, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciated how quickly they were able to implement the program, because it felt like within the same week or the following week that everything happened, that they were looking at the needs of the Culver City elders and just folks and students and kids that would be in need of food. But then the way that they tied it into the restaurants, the local restaurants that were, impacted and losing business, and how those local restaurants are now feeding the community, and the money that's raised is supporting the restaurant. So it really came to a nice full community circle.
Keeping revenue in the community longer too is not a bad idea.
Yes.
Exactly. So one thing that I do want to come back to, so the reason I wanted to name this Monday Motivations is because we all need motivation. You know, working from home is a challenge. Even though it's great in a lot of ways, I think there is a lot of challenges that come up from working from home, distractions that come up. I know that when I've been making jewelry, I will put on TV in the background, and usually it's old shows, you know, and I can have it as like a background noise, call it that way, you know, but it takes me a long time to just like, okay, I got to make this and motivate myself to do it, right? So I wanted to ask each of you, what is your motivation that you're going to set forth for this week? So, you know, what is something that's going to motivate you for the rest of this week that you are putting your mind to starting today?
Can you share yours first, Rafia?
Well played.
You go first.
Turn it around on me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will go first. My motivation for this week is going to be, I have a couple of orders that people have placed with me, some special custom orders. So I'm going to organize myself so that I can actually get some of those done. So for me, a little bit of a challenge is trying to get my supplies. So if I can do an order for somebody with the existing supplies I have, makes my life a little easier. But if I have to go source out the supplies where a lot of my suppliers are not there and they're not shipping, or I usually go and get, I can't. And so those are my challenges right now. So a couple of things have come in that are a little challenging that I cannot source. So I'm going to be motivating myself to pull stuff that are alternatives that I can offer my customers so that I don't have to go and purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Okay.
Go ahead, Candance, you're up next.
All right. Well, that being said, those of you that follow me on my personal page, you might notice that I have started walking 4.5 miles every day. That's to combat the COVID-19. And I won't talk about the number of pounds, but there's somewhere in that range that I was adding when I was at home enjoying my chocolate chip cookies and biscuits and all kinds of things.
Don't forget the biscuits.
The ones that I didn't burn.
That'll be for another episode. That's like, right. Is the dress blue and yellow, or is it
Right.
Go back to that
No,
one.
it
Yeah.
was so funny because I kept sending her recipes.
She even sent me a recipe like, here's a biscuit recipe. I was like, well, Rafi, I can't find flour. So I have started walking 4.5 miles. And I said I was going to walk 4.5 miles every day until my birthday, which was 101 days away when I started. So today is my 36th day of walking 4.5 miles.
Nice.
Yay!
Yay! So what I said was every time someone placed an order on the website, I would walk it, literally walk it to the post office. And I have a couple of orders that I have to walk to the post office. So it's a couple of things. I'm getting in my steps, so it's getting me moving and keeping me healthy. But it's also my motivation in that is just the reaction that I know my Mornistas are going to have when they open it up. And they're encouraging me. They're like, go Candance. But when they place an order online, I'm like, oh no, I got to walk to the post office. So this week, I'm going to change it. Instead of saying, oh no, I'm going to be like, oh yes, I get to walk to the post office.
There's
And
a purpose for you.
Yes,
Just
and my
to tie into that,
motivation.
it's now running on the ticker at the bottom, so it's in print. We're sending people to your website so that when they get styled and to drive towards your fitness goals, that they know that it's a mutually serving purpose. So
it is.
that is running at the bottom.
Yes. So my motivation is, again, still servicing my clients and getting healthy in the same vein. So being excited about the orders that are coming through online opposed to now I gotta walk to the post office. So be careful what you put out there because your community will help you reach your goals.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I love it. And I love your posts of all the pictures you see along the way. I think that's great. You know, there has to be a purpose for doing that. You know, you found it.
My part of my picture taking is giving myself a break. Like, okay, I'm a little winded. What's happening around here? Let me snap a photo of this.
They say it's important to take breaks.
Yes, especially if I'm going uphill or up an incline. I was like, what is happening around here that I can stop for a moment and take a picture?
Yep. That's awesome. Whatever it takes for you to get moving, I think is amazing. So I will piggyback onto that by saying that I've actually, during this whole time, since February 29th, I work out at least a half an hour every day, no matter what.
Awesome.
You know?
That's great.
And I think that if you can motivate yourself to do that, then you can eat those biscuits.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving those biscuits a hard stare at this point. Like, are you really worth it? Whereas before we were in good conversation. Now I'm like, now biscuits. That's gonna be like 10 miles to get that one biscuit off.
You've had a paradigm shift.
Well, I think a lot of people have put on COVID weight, so it is what it is. Mm-hmm. How about you, Colin? What is your motivation?
So mine is kind of multifaceted because we're, I guess, officially in week 3 of school. So yes. that first week and a half kind of hit like a tornado. I mean, it was, in some ways it was better than expected. In other ways it was far more stressful and chaotic and just a lot of moving parts. So I think this week.
How old your kids are?
So I have a 7-year-old who's in 2nd grade and a 1-year-old who's going on 16. She really kind of runs the house and her older sister at times, but it's been great. But there's the pandemic as well. She's done a lot of growing up in the pandemic, which has been awesome to see kind of up close and firsthand. You know, if we didn't have the pandemic going on, I probably would have missed some of this just from being in the office. But so I'd say overall, it's driving towards some normalcy, and not necessarily what was normal before, but just some routine. So as we're falling into the school schedule, that's one area. And then we've got a whole lot of upcoming events for the chamber, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to shamelessly plug away as I'm speaking about it. But so one is our fifth annual Women in Business Leadership Awards.
Yay!
We had our fourth one, and it's ironic because I didn't mention this before, but I'm joined by two of our honorees this last go around. So you probably will see more from them as we get closer to our fifth annual event, which is October 22nd. But when that event ended last year, I don't think any of the three of us expected the fifth anniversary to be in the environment we're in right now. But you know, it's to the point.
It was such a wonderful event. It was a wonderful event. I enjoyed it, but I was nervous to speak, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, no, it was great, and this one will be, you know, as great as we can make it in a virtual format. So we will, you know, lean in and embrace that. But right now, I wanted to mention that our nominations are alive. So if you can think of a phenomenal woman that's in business in Culver City, so they would either need to have their business be in Culver City or be a member of the chamber. So either one is fine. And since it's our fifth anniversary, we actually added a fifth award. So we've always had the founder, the visionary, trailblazer, and innovator. But this year we're adding a nonprofit leader as well, because we realized that in Culver City there's a lot of great leaders in that space. So I would tell you, you know, you can visit our website, not just to learn more about the chamber, but also to find the link to nominate for that. So that's a motivation. We finally have been able to roll out some of our marquee events that have either gotten pushed or have changed formats because of the pandemic. So that's exciting. And then other motivations, it's, you know, to be quite candid, it's our members, it's the businesses. You know, this Thursday, for example, we're partnering with another one of our businesses in Kaiser Permanente. They're going to be working with us on navigating COVID-19 pandemic and preparing for the new normal, and whatever that new normal might look like. I think when we can get weigh-in from healthcare industry, that can only better inform our decision making and what we're doing. And then, oddly enough, as chaotic a time as it kind of ends up when when you have a lot of moving parts, we've got not only the national election, but a local one as well. And so we have two candidate forums because we decided we wanted to double our work in the week. So in 2 weeks, on Tuesday, September 15th, from 4:30 to 6, we actually have a candidates forum for our city council seats. So there are 8 candidates that are running for 3 seats. And so there's information again at culvercitychamber.com to take a look at that. And then on Thursday, we have a similar candidates forum, but that'll be for school board, where there are 6 candidates running for 2 seats. So,
nice.
You know, all in all, it's I enjoy what I do. No 2 days are quite the same. And that was even before the pandemic, but it's, you know, just a great opportunity to serve our business community. I will say, you know, for those of you that are listening or will listen to this later, please respond back to the different platforms that you're watching this on. And I'm speaking on behalf of Candance and Rafia, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but we really want this to be tailored towards what makes sense for you all. So if there's people that you'd like to see them interview, or topics that you'd like to see discussed, or, you know, questions that you have, please pose them. You can always go to our website to culvercitychamber.com. If you have additional questions or you want to learn about how to become awesome like these two and become an ambassador, you can go on to info@culvercitychamber.com. I'm going to turn it back over to them momentarily, but I wanted to share this platform is going to be, as of right now, it'll be weekly on Mondays at 1 o'clock. So you can look forward to hearing from Rafia, Candance, and some fine member of our business community, and diving a little bit deeper. And the very last thing that I will say, if you've stayed with us this long and you've already eaten your lunch, then you might as well come back in about a half an hour. We have our bi-weekly COVID-19 business roundtable, which was what Candance was mentioning earlier. I'll give you a sneak peek. The governor just essentially rewrote the rule book for our opening and closures moving forward on Friday. So we'll be talking about that, what it looks like in Culver City, and answer any questions. So if you're available to attend, then I would definitely, strongly encourage you to do so. And we thank everybody that's joined us today. I'll give it back to the ladies to see if they have any parting thoughts, but I am very, very encouraged and thankful that you all joined, and this will be in capable hands with both Candance and Rafia.
Thank you, thank you, Colin. And hopefully next week we'll come with another guest that is going to be sitting in Colin's seat. And thank you for watching, and I'll turn it over to Candance.
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for creating such an awesome platform where we can showcase what's happening here in Culver City and encourage each other. All of our businesses, as business owners, we do need the Monday motivation. So we are going to be here to motivate and encourage you. And if you're similar to me and you need to stay out of the kitchen, Rafia is the person to talk to because she's in the kitchen and she has a recipe for you.
That's true.
As well
I like
as jewelry.
to cook. I like to cook, but even I'm sick of my own cooking.
I thought it was so cool to see your husband Jeff's picture where you say if you can't go to the bar and watch the game, you have a bar at home where you can watch the game. So I think we're all finding creative ways to motivate us and to keep getting up and doing what we've been called to do. So we are here to encourage and to motivate you to stay engaged with your business.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for indulging my idea.
Great idea.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye,
all
Janice.
Right. Bye.
Thanks, you guys, for watching. Thanks, everyone that watched us live. And put your comments in there. We want to hear from you.
Exactly.
Yep. Thank you.